Have you ever played against a deck that feels like it's always a turn ahead of you, no matter what you do? Have you ever dreamed of being the king of the pirates? Well, I've got a deck here for you. How's it going, everyone? I'm the King of TopDecks, and today we're going to be breaking down the Black Purple Luffy deck profile here. So Black Purple Luffy is a leader that helps you accelerate your game plan by kind of controlling the board, overwhelming your opponent with lots of different cards that can generate you exceptional value, while also being surprisingly pretty resilient and tanky. If you thought Blue Purple Luffy was oppressive being a 6k leader, or Red Blue Ace being oppressive being 6k leader, have you ever considered being a 7k leader? Well, I'll show you just how to do that and more in this breakdown. But first, if you enjoy competitive One Piece content, please make sure to like, comment, subscribe, and share the video with your friends. It really helps the channel grow. I want to continue putting out more deck profiles here for you guys, and I want to continue getting more and more here for you all. But without further ado, let's actually give a quick shout out here.
So I do want to give a quick shout out to a local proxy vendor here in Buffalo, New York. He goes by the name of The Mail. He has an Etsy page, which I'll be linking here. But he does a lot of really cool proxies, and you're actually going to be seeing throughout the video and as part of the intro the picture that I've been using for my Luffy. It is this really nice looking art. I was able to save the digital version of it, so now I can use it on the sim whenever I'm playing. It just looks phenomenal. It's such a good looking card, and a lot of the proxies that he does are just incredibly high value. And they all look really good, so I've gotten quite a few for all of my favorite decks that I've been playing. And of course, for my two main faves, I had to get them some mangas. They look really good. Honestly, I really love how this koala one turned out. I think this was just fantastic, and all of these all just look amazing and wonderful. So if you are interested in picking up some proxies, by all means check him out. I'll be linking his store in the I'll be linking his store in the description below. And if you want to make this beautiful little kitten very happy, all you gotta do is click on that link and you'll save a little bit of money in the process. So definitely check him out. Let's get back to the video. Whoosh.
With that out of the way, let's go ahead and break down the deck itself. So, what does Black Purple Luffy himself do? So Black Purple Luffy has an effect. He's a 5k base leader that has Dawn ×1. All of your characters gain +1 cost. And then on your turn, once per turn, when 2 or more Dawn are returned from your field to your Dawn deck, you can add back both of those Dawn, one active and one rested. So this is really interesting because a lot of the typical purple decks will kind of just involve you doing just -1 Dawn, -1 Dawn in order to get your effects. And you're going to notice that a lot of the cards in this deck actually go -2. And it's very interesting because for us, it's not actually making us lose value. We're actually gaining value. But the big thing about this deck, and why I think many people don't really gravitate much towards it, it's a fairly complex deck. This is definitely not a deck you want to pick up if you're a beginner, because the sequencing that you do in this deck is incredibly important, because if you mess it up, you can sequence things to the point where you don't have that Dawn that you need for that crucial turn, and things can spiral out of control very quickly. So with that being said, we're going to start breaking down the bits and parts of the actual list, and then once we finish doing all that, we'll go ahead and show you guys a couple of games that we've got here for you all. So the first things we're going to go over are some of our searchers. So some of our searchers are pretty straightforward. We've got our 1-cost Law and our 2-cost Nami. So Law has 1000 counter 2k power, and he says on play, look at the top 4 cards of your deck, reveal up to one cost 2 or greater card with a Straw Hat Crew type, and put it into your hand. It also mentions Heart Pirates, but we're not playing any Heart Pirates in this deck. So, and then we'll actually break down Nami first before we explain them. So Nami is a 2-cost 2k counter, 1k counter with 2k power that says on play, look at the top 5 of your deck, reveal 1 Straw Hat type crew other than Nami and add it to your hand, then you place the rest at the bottom of your order, and it has a trigger to play her. So these two are very interesting because as you're playing this deck, you're going to have to remember that Law only looks at 4, Nami looks at 5. It can be a little bit confusing, and sometimes you're going to, kind of go into autopilot mode. You might try to go for 5 for Law. You just gotta be a little bit careful if you are playing at your locals, just to make sure that you're not accidentally grabbing one too many cards. But these are going to help us out a lot. They're going to search for basically the majority of our deck. You're going to see we have still a couple of things that aren't Straw Hat Crew type, but you'll see why they're in here because they actually generate us a pretty insane amount of value. So next up, we'll talk about our Black Maria. If you've ever played Black Purple Luffy in the past, you're pretty familiar with why Black Maria is in here. But in case you don't know, Black Maria is a 3-cost, 2k power, 2k counter that says activate main once per turn. If you have no other cards if you have no other Black Maria, you can add up to 5 Dawn cards from your Dawn deck, rested. Then at the end of your turn, you return Dawn from your field to the Dawn deck until you have the same number as your opponent. So why this is important for us is because at the end of the turn, sometimes we might be doing multiple -2 Dawn effects in one turn. And notably, our leader's effect is once per turn. So the big thing about this is, with our leader being a once per turn, that means that if we do multiple Dawn -2 effects in a turn, which I'll show you how you can potentially do that later, you're going to end up going minus in Dawn. So Black Maria can help you keep that Dawn at the same, keep it on par with your opponent as you're doing all of your things. And what can also happen with this too is if for whatever reason, if you have Black Maria in the field and you didn't use an effect that did your leader's effect, when you return these Dawn at the end of your turn, that actually still triggers your leader effect because it is still your turn. So it's very important to make sure you keep these interactions in mind. Up next, we have our 3-cost Zoro. He's a 5k power with no counter. He says, on play, you can return 1 or more Dawn from play to your Dawn deck. Set up to 1 Dawn card from your Dawn deck as active. This is a very, very powerful play if you are going first, because going first, you play him down on your 3 Dawn turn, and you are immediately going to be, and the next turn, you're going to be at 6 Dawn, because you're effectively ramping 1 with his effect. Because what you're going to do with Zoro, every single time, you will always go -2 Dawn with his effect, because remember, it says return 1 or more Dawn. So you will return 2 Dawn with his effect every time. You will get 2 Dawn back. And then you have 1 Dawn extra, so you can slap that onto your leader and swing for 6. The next turn, you're now at 6 Dawn because you left that turn with 4 Dawn. So he's a very powerful card. Unfortunately, he can be a little bit bricky, and we do have quite a lot of bricks in the deck already. So that's one of the reasons why I'm playing him at 3. But if you're not a big fan of some of the ratios in this deck, or if you don't like some of the bricks that I'm playing, you can actually just play him at 4 instead. He's a very valuable card for the deck. He helps you keep your early game aggression going. He's very valuable, and he's a true mainstay of the Straw Hat Crew Pirates. Up next, we've got our Usohachi. He's a 3-cost, 3k power, 2k counter. All in play if you have 8 or more Dawn. Rest up to one of your opponent's characters with a cost of 5 or less. I don't think I really need to explain why this is so good. If you play any Straw Hat Crew type that has purple, or even just any purple deck in general, Usohachi's almost mandatory. It's incredibly good, can help you go for game and snipe out a little blocker and help you snipe out a win that maybe your opponent wasn't quite expecting and throw off all their math. It can be very invaluable for those reasons alone, and if not, it's at least still a searchable 2k that we can grab off our Nami if we happen to trigger her. So he's a very good card. Speaking of 2Ks, we're going to be talking about our Nico Robin. She's a 3-cost, 4k power with 2k counter. On play, Dawn -2, add 1 Dawn from your Dawn deck and set it as active. She effectively has the exact same effect as Zoro. And so what makes this invaluable for us is if we're going first and we don't see Zoro but we have Nico Robin, you're probably going to want to play out the Nico Robin so you can get that extra Dawn ramped. And after that, she's effectively going to be a 4k swing that you can do every turn, but you're probably going to have to commit a Dawn to her in order to swing for 5. So either way, she can still be helpful on the board to kind of help you continue swinging and generating some more pressure. But otherwise, she's still going to be primarily our 2k, but still has that situational on play, which can be helpful. Up next, we have 3 copies of our Frankie. So Frankie is a 4-cost, 5k power with 1k counter. He's a blocker and has on play Dawn -2, discard a card from your hand and draw 2 cards. He can be pretty helpful for helping us sift through some of our bricks in our hand, kind of drawing something that could be a little bit more helpful or a little bit more situationally useful, or even if we just need to get a blocker down, he's still going to be very invaluable for us just to kind of keep a little bit more of those defenses going. We don't have many blockers in the deck, so anytime that we can slam one of these down and get some value from it, it's going to be well earned. Up next, we have our this is essentially the big boss monster of the deck, the main game ender. He is our closer. We've got our 6 costs, Monkey D. Luffy. So what Luffy does is he's a 7k power. If your leader is multicolored, check, and your opponent has 5 or more Dawn on the field, this character gains Rush. So normally when we're playing him, we're already in the late game. You can effectively assume that he's always got Rush. His effect is when attacking, once per turn, you return 2 of your active Dawn. Keep that in mind, you have to have 2 active Dawn. You return those back to the deck, and then you set him as active, and add the top card of your life to your hand. So he really is, I have to go balls to the wall, I gotta kill my opponent right here, right now, I don't have any other options, you need to die, this is your guy. And what's really cool about him is because he only costs 6 Dawn, you can actually play him down when you have 10 Dawn available, you can commit 2 Dawn to him, you can swing for 9, use his effect, return 2 Dawn, get 1 back active, and then you're going to restand him, so now you can attach that other Dawn that you restood, and swing for 10. So you can go for 9 and then 10, without your opponent even realizing it. They'll be looking at your board and be like, oh, there's nothing he can do, I'll be able to survive whatever hits he has on board. You slam this guy down, and they're like, I didn't account for this. So this is incredible to help you kind of close out those games. He comes in clutch, he's going to help you anytime that you need to close out those games. And now we've got the main star of the show. If you've ever played this deck, you know how insane this card is. The value that he gets you is phenomenal. And if you're ever playing against this deck, this is the card that you want to keep an eye out for. This is our 6 cost, 7k power, Beer Luffy. So on play when attacking, you can Dawn -2 if your leader is multicolored and your opponent has 5 or more Dawn on their field, and your Straw Hat Crew type leader's base power becomes 7k until the end of your opponent's next end phase. So this is incredibly notable for us because if we are going first and we slam him down, when we have that, when we did that ramping for going first, you're actually not going to become 7k power for that turn. However, you will be 7k power any other time after that. So ideally, we would like to go second, so that way when we do get our chance to play out Luffy, our opponent should already be at 5 or more Dawn. Because by the time we get to him, we're going to be at 7 Dawn or 6 Dawn, if we ramp or not. So he's going to be our main thing that keeps our leader healthy, because being a 7k base power leader is incredibly invaluable. He will help you against any decks that go wide, because now they have to commit so much more Dawn to their guys just to even swing at your leader. It'll be guaranteed, like if you're playing against Boa, they got a guaranteed 2 Dawn onto each of their guys just to swing at your leader, and more than likely they're going to commit their swings into the Beer Luffy, because if you're playing against Beer Luffy, you should be attacking him. You can't let this leader stay at 7k base power. That amount of value is insane. But this is definitely the star of the show. When you are looking for your opening hands, if you can get him in it, you're golden. And if you can't, this is the main guy that you want to search for, always. Up next, we're going to have our 7 cost Sanji. He's a 7k power, 1k counter. That says on play, you can return 1 or more Dawn cards from play to your Dawn deck. Effectively the same thing as Zoro. We're going to do Dawn -2 every time. He gets Rush, and you can rest down one of your opponent's characters with a cost of 6 or less. He's really good to kind of help you continue to push down and like rest some blockers if you're trying to go for game, or even if you want to start attacking someone's board and they got like a pretty big value piece on the board, and obviously they haven't swung with it yet. You can play out Sanji, rest down that value piece, and immediately begin pressuring your opponent to either protect it or lose it. So he's very good at helping you get those kinds of plays, and he's just a very valuable card in the deck. Up next, we have one of my own personal tech cards that I've been testing out fairly recently, and every time I play it, I just love it even more. I'm talking about 8 cost Katakuri. Katakuri is an 8k blocker. You heard that right. He's 8,000 power blocker. And at the end of the turn, you can set 2 of your Big Mom Pirate types. He is a Big Mom Pirate, so he can select himself with a cost of 3 or more as active. Then you add 1 of your Dawn cards from your Dawn deck and rest it. The effects that he gives you for what he does for his cost is insane. He not only does he give you a blocker, you can swing with him for 8,000 every single turn, and then at the end of your turn, you unrest him and get a rested Dawn back. So even if you're going minus Dawn from doing your effects, you're still getting that Dawn back just to help you stay on par with your opponent. he gives you so much value in this deck, and every time I've been playing him, I just keep thinking to myself, oh my god, why don't I have more copies of them? So I've actually even been considering maybe putting him at 3 copies, because I honestly always want to see him when I get to that 8 Dawn, because if I can have him, the value that he gives you is so good. He's so hard to remove from the board. Most of the decks in the format are struggling to remove bigger bodies like this. They have to commit so many resources just to get rid of it. So he's really good. I love him. He's fantastic. Definitely a star of the show. Up next, we have another tech piece that I've been playing around with recently, and it's been a little bit hit or miss for me. I've definitely had some moments where it's come in clutch. I've also had some moments where I've seen it in my hand and I'm like, I literally do not want to see you in my life. So we're looking at our 10 cost Doflamingo. He's a 10k power, on play Dawn -3. You can choose one. We can't do the first one because we are not a Don Quixote pirate type. So the second one is what we would always be using, which is up to 3 of your opponent's characters with a cost 7 or less cannot be rested until the end of your opponent's next turn. This can actually be pretty helpful to help you stall out a board, to help you continue pushing and like smacking down your opponent. It can also help you if you are trying to maybe get a little bit more pressure and you don't want to deal with your opponent's blockers. You can actually use this, rest down a couple of blockers, and they won't be able to rest their blockers to block you because they have to rest them. So this can help you get a lot of value, and on paper, it's just a really insane card. In practice, I've definitely found a couple of situations where it's been kind of difficult to play him out, because usually by the time I've gotten to the turn where I can play him out, I tend to be a little bit behind, or I'm trying to just close out the game, and he's not really going to help you with doing that. Or I might be up against a deck that I'm afraid has a little bit more rush. So he definitely helps for the going wide decks. He doesn't help so much for the big and bad decks. So it'll be a little bit tricky if you want to make him work. He's definitely been a little bit of a hit or miss, as I mentioned, so this is something you should definitely play around with and see if you like him or not. If you don't like him, one other thing that I could potentially suggest, we are going to be getting a couple of new cards in OP15 that are going to be Straw Hat Crew type pirates, and I am definitely going to be trying to see if I can. I'm going to be tuning my list a little bit once 15 comes out. But this Nami is definitely going to get put in here, and that could potentially be an option for removing these Dofis. Up next, we have our 6 cost 7k Nico Robin. If you've seen any of the videos on my channel, you know that I am a huge Koala stan. Koala is my favorite deck. It's actually the deck I'm going to be bringing to regionals, and I'm hoping to get some content coming out soon. Maybe like some vlog style content of my road, getting my road for preparation for regionals. That's gonna be coming out, and that's gonna be happening in May. I'm definitely hoping to bring Koala and get some, bring some notoriety to her during that time, and hopefully I'll be able, to get some more content out here for you guys, so you guys can see that. But I'm getting a little bit sidetracked here. So what Nico Robin does, if you're not aware, if your leader is Koala or Monkey D. Luffy, this character gains blocker and +3 cost, which is already pretty good. We got ourselves a free blocker, and it can be a little bit sticky in terms of removal because stuff like Gravity Blade actually, notably, won't be able to touch her. And funnily enough, as long as you have 1 Dawn attached to your leader, Gravity Blade also can't touch your Beer Luffy. So that is another little thing to keep in mind, because Gravity Blade is kind of one of the go-to sources of removal in the format now that Red Rock is rotating. So because it places 2 characters with a cost of 6 or less to the bottom of the deck, you put that 1 Dawn on your leader, they can no longer target your Luffy because it doesn't specify base cost. So just another little piece of tech to keep in mind. Just depending on the matchup, you might want to keep that in mind, especially against triggers, against ye olde trigger slop, because those Peronas also notably specify a 6 or less without base cost. So if you are playing against a yellow deck and you see that they are trying that they're playing Thriller Bark Slop, you definitely want to make sure you have that Dawn before you do any swinging with your Beer Luffys, because if not, you're going to be throwing the game. If they get a trigger and bring out that Perona, they're going to freeze your Beer Luffy, and you are not going to be having a good time. But sorry, getting a little bit sidetracked there. So Nico Robin's on-play ability is you may trash 1 card from your hand. If your opponent has 5 or more cards in their hand, they trash 2 cards from their hand. With Pudding now being banned from the format, I think Nico Robin is really valuable for this deck to kind of help keep a little bit of that people's hand sizes a little bit more in check, because we're not necessarily afraid of playing down pudding. Like, we were never going to be playing down pudding anyways. But I think a lot of people aren't going to be respecting different types of hand removal going forward. And Nico Robin can be pretty useful for us to kind of make sure that we're trimming down our opponent's hand size just to keep it a little bit more manageable for us, because that could potentially be one game ender and a 2k, or one game ender and a 1k. And the more cards you get rid of from your opponent, not only the more information does it give you for the late game, but it also helps keep things a little bit more intact, because sometimes that extra 1000 counter is all they need to survive your last hit. So Nico Robin's on play will always be very valuable, and I think it's going to continue to get more value as the format continues. Up next, so this actually used to not be Divine Departure. So previously I had this as Judgment of Hell, and the main thing that kind of sucks about this, I don't even think it's gonna let me show it anymore. Oh, there we go. So the thing that sucks about this is that Hell's Judgment was actually a block 1 event, and I was playing this at 2 copies because this was a very good counter to use, because it gave 2 characters minus 3000 power, which I thought was incredibly valuable for us. And also the trigger of returning a Dawn is just insane. However, because it is block 1, it is not going to be rotating out, and you're actually going to see a little bit of awkwardness with the list as I go through some of our games later on. So in that stead, I decided to play 2 copies of Divine Departure instead. There's a couple of different options. I was actually thinking about potentially playing some Ground Death, because Ground Death is potentially a 4k counter for us, but as I started thinking about it, we're not realistically getting that much cards in our trash, and this could potentially be a good option for us with OP15 if we decide to go more into the mill-focused Straw Hat build, since a lot of the black cards will actually be milling your deck. But I don't think that variation of this deck is going to be very useful. I think you're probably going to want to keep this mostly the way it is, with maybe a few small tweaks. So I didn't think Ground Death was going to be very useful, and the main effect isn't beneficial for us if we can't use it for the counter. So instead, I decided to go for Divine Departure. Divine Departure was something that I was teching in for quite a while to help us deal with stuff like Newgate, because for the cost of 5 Dawn, you can give any one of your opponent's characters minus 8000 power for a turn. So if you are really struggling, especially against stuff like Mihawk, for example, Mihawk is a very difficult matchup for us because of that Shanks. The minus 1k across the board really hurts us and our to get that tempo going. So if you actually spend that 5 Dawn on the Shanks to give it minus 8k, you're golden, because you will have whatever Dawn left over that you need, plus whatever attackers you have that are going to be swinging into a 1000 power Shanks. You're going to kill that thing guaranteed, and then you no longer have to worry about the minus 1. On top of that, you can also give yourself plus 3k counter when you have a ton of bricks in hand, and as I've been showing you, we've got a lot of bricks in hand. So this is actually a change that I made after the recording of all of our videos, just because of the fact that I was playing around initially with the Ground Death, but as I was playing with it, I realized I don't like it. But I know I've played with Divine Departure in the past, and I always have liked playing Divine Departure. So this is definitely, I think, the move for the deck, at least for the remainder of this format until 15 hits. And last but not least, Gum Gum Giant. I don't think it needs to be explained why the Gum Gum Giant's here. It's a 1 cost, Dawn minus 2, trash 1 card from your hand, 4k power for the turn, and you draw 2 cards. It's just insane. It gives you so much value for what the card does. Honestly, it's kind of ridiculous what exactly it does for only 1 singular Dawn, but hey, if you play purple and you're a Straw Hat crew, you have to just assume that there's going to be a Gum Gum Giant there. So that is it for the deck profile. So I hope that you guys enjoyed. I hope you guys enjoyed the breakdown of the list. So now that you've seen how the list, now you've seen everything that the list wants to do. Now that we've broken down everything that's going on in it, I think it's about time that we show you guys how to actually run the deck, how it plays, and how it performs against some of the new decks in the meta. So without further ado, let's show you how to do it. Alrighty everyone, so here we are back again. So we're going to be up against this Mihawk here. So he decided to go first, as you would kind of expect. Fortunately for me, he got the coffin boat up and at him. So I decided to keep this hand just because we have the Nami, so we can kind of do a little bit of searching here. Man, that is a this is a really unfortunate search for us here. I don't really want to get the Gum Gum Giant just because we already have it, so I might just go for the Law and maybe play out the Frankie next turn. Just that way we can potentially, yeah. So we're just gonna have to. I don't know why it's not letting me. Oh, that's not what I wanted to get. Oh yeah, that's right. Cause that. Never mind. That makes sense. Yeah. I was wondering why I couldn't get it, but then I forgot that Law isn't considered a Straw Hat, but he can search for Straw Hats, so that shit trips me up all the time. But it is what it is. So he decides to swing at us. We are just gonna go ahead and take that. And then we do get to hit another Nami. This one is much better for us though. So to be honest, we are going second. I'm gonna be hitting that 4 Dawn turn so I can play out Frankie. So we don't need the Zoro. The Zoro will be really good for some early game pressure, but I do just want to secure myself that Luffy ASAP. So we'll go ahead and grab that. We'll go ahead and put the rest at the bottom here. So that's actually a pretty good trigger for us. So now what I think I'm going to do is we will definitely be playing out the Frankie. So we'll go ahead and do that first. That way we can have our Dawn. Or actually, no. I think it'll probably be better for us just to kind of swing first. Just to see what we can... just kind of see what we can get from him. So we'll go ahead and swing 5 at his face. He's probably going to counter out of this. No, okay, never mind. So he decides to take it. First one's always free, am I right? So we'll go ahead and play out the Frankie. So we use his effect. We'll return 2 Dawn. And then we can just go ahead and trash that Gum Gum Giant that he knows we're going to have. And then we can do our effect, gain some Dawn back, and you know what, we can go ahead and pass the turn with that. I'll keep the Dawn open just because if we feel like we need to use the Gum Gum Giant, then it'll be fine. I wasn't anticipating him really taking this hit anyways, but it should be fine. Him hitting us with the Perona is a little annoying, but honestly, like, it's fine. It just means that we can't block. So like, I'm not really tripping too much about this. Just the fact that he has to stage is just going to be really annoying for us throughout this game, and it's going to make it a very difficult matchup. So because he's swinging 7 at us again, honestly, I don't really want to take it, but I'm actually kind of fine with this. I think we're in a pretty on par situation. I'm going to play at the Beer Luffy next turn, so we're going to be looking pretty good. So I'll go ahead and resolve it. Ooh, you know what? No, but he's only at 5 Dawn, so we can't really use the trigger here. So that's a little bit unfortunate. This is a really good trigger to hit if he had just 1 more Dawn. So now we finally get to see the Beer Luffy here, so we'll just go ahead and full send it immediately. We'll do the on play, leader effect, get that Dawn back. We're at 7k. And now we'll just go ahead and swing that at his face, and we'll keep that Dawn open for the Gum Gum Giant. So most likely he's going to start countering out of this. I don't anticipate him keeping this. There's absolutely no reason for him to take this, unless he's just got a bunch of bricks in hand, which, if we're lucky, could be the case, but I heavily doubt it. Does bring him down to 3, so he's still looking pretty safe. I don't think he's tripping too much. But on the bright side, at least now the Perona is there, so it is what it is. The one downside that is going to probably come out of this is that he's most likely going to end up hitting us with the Shanks. So if he has Shanks here, Shanks kind of just ruins our life, because Shanks is probably one of the most difficult cards for us to remove in our deck. But I am looking pretty good having this Katakuri here. This is going to be very hard for him to deal with because it's going to be a consistent 8k swing that's just going to swing every single turn, be able to restand itself, then it's just going to block again. So the fact that he's playing at the prone is actually really good for us. We're not going to deal with the Shanks quite yet, so I'm actually kind of happy about this. Pretty happy about this turn of events. So we'll have to see how this ends up going. The only downside to us playing the Katakuri on the next turn, though, is the fact that we're not going to have that Dawn open. Actually, no, never mind, because we'll still do... Oh, okay, interesting. So he's just going to grab the 4k event, and then playing out a Kid and Killer, trying to search for another Supernova. So I'm curious as to what exactly he's trying to search for right now. And then he grabs a Bonnie. Okay. So yeah, that's definitely a little bit annoying, but since he's doing leader effect, he can't play any more character cards, so he's just going to start swinging at our face. Okay. So we have two options here. I could... Let me see here. So we are at 6 right now. If I do Dawn -2, we're going to stay at 6. So honestly, I don't really want to Gum Gum Giant. So I think I'll give him the 3k here. He's just going to commit with the Mihawk on that. And then I think we'll still be fine. So yeah, we'll go ahead and give him a Nico Robin. Yeah, he'll just swing really big with the Mihawk, so we can just block that. So I'll give him no blocker here, and then we'll give him a 2k and a 1k. And so now he's just going to attach all 4 of these Dawn. He's going to swing, yep, 9 again, and this time we'll go ahead and block that. Alright, and so he's just going to go ahead and pass the turn here. That's perfect for us. He has no Dawn open. That is wonderful for us to see. So I think we'll just go ahead and full send it. We'll just go ahead and play out this Katakuri. We'll go ahead and swing. This could be a little bit tricky because I kind of want to swing into the Perona, but I also don't really want him to play out that Bonnie for free. Let's double check what that Bonnie does, because I'm pretty sure it's on play. So it's on play, draw 2, trash 1, and then restand a Dawn. Oh, but you know what? He wouldn't be able to do that on play because it's not an 8 Dawn. So you know what? Let's just go ahead and swing that here, and then we'll do on attack. So that should be pretty solid for us. And then we'll do leader effect. We'll get our Dawn back. Okay, perfect. So he lets it go through. He's probably going to do effect. He's going to play out something. Okay, perfect. So he plays with the Bonnie, and I don't think he knows. So no drawing for you, my friend. So now I will go ahead and swing. You know what? Let's go ahead and just swing this into his Kitten Killer first, now that it's rested. Beautiful. No reason for him to keep that. And then we can just go ahead and swing 7 out of space. I anticipate he's probably just going to block it because of the... Or he's going to use a... I know you're strong, so I'll go all out. Unless for some reason he decides to take it. Yeah, no. So there's the 4K event. Okay. So I think we're that. We can go ahead and pass it. We're looking really good. We'll go ahead and get that rested Dawn back. That's going to be... Getting this rested Dawn back for us is really good, because we can do the Gum Gum Giant, and we're not really going that negative in Dawn. We're still going to be going back up to 9. So that can still help us out with a couple of different plays. And even if he removes this Luffy, I'm okay with committing... I'm okay with letting him commit some resources into removing it, since we can just play out another one from hand. And if we do really want to go for the game here, we do at least have the Sanji in hand, and we're trying to hopefully dig for just a little bit more. So we'll see what happens here. If he plays at the 9-cost Mihawk, that kind of just ruins our life too. Luckily for us, he hasn't really been drawing too well, so that kind of helps us out a little bit in these matchups. So we'll just kind of have to see a little bit what our opponent decides to do here. Let's see. In the meantime, we can kind of keep track of the game state, though. He has a lot of cards in hand. So that is going to make it very difficult for us. Trying to go into this. Okay, sure. Yeah, you can have my Nami. I'm fine with that. At the end of the day, I'm just going to swing this right back into you. That means you just have one less Weenie Hut Jr. to rest for your effects. Okay. So doing the Law, playing up the Tashigi. Getting the Tashigi out is pretty good for him here, so I think he's looking pretty solid. And luckily for him, he does still, of course, have the event, so he can easily just, you know, get himself out of shit. So what's looking pretty good for us here, though, is the fact that because he does have the Jewelry Bonnie, he's not going to swing with this. So that's one blocker that we have to kind of get through, which means I can easily swing into this Tashigi and bait out a lot of interaction from him, or just force him to react to me. So he's going to do leader effect. He's probably going to commit 4 of these Dawn. It's just so annoying that he can restand through the Dawn back, man. Yeah, he's most likely going to commit 4 Dawn here, and try to swing 9. If I was him, I would put the 4 Dawn here, swing 9 at Luffy, and then you have 2 Dawn open for events, assuming that he has 2 events in hand that he wants to play. Oh, he's just going to full 10. Okay. So I think, honestly, I don't even need to commit blocker here. I can just give him the Gum Gum Giant. Yeah, because Gum Gum Giant will put us up to 11. Yeah. So don't need Gum Gum. We can, or sorry, we don't need blocker. We can just play the Gum Gum. And we'll go ahead and pitch. I think I'll pitch the Law. Oh, sorry. Return 2 Dawn, and then we will trash the Law. Then we'll give you, and then we draw 2. Okay, so we did draw into another 2k, which is pretty good for us. We do still have the Hell's Judgment. And then drawing into this is also super, super nice. So let's just go ahead and start off by swinging 8 into the Tashigi. And let's just force him to start reacting here. Because remember, at the end of the day, we are still going to be able to restand the Katakuri, and we'll be able to get that rested Dawn. So no matter what happens here, we're still looking pretty happy. He's about to commit a lot of resources into keeping this Tashigi alive, which is fine for us. Wait, how did he restand it? What the fuck? Oh, okay. That's actually some really cool tech. Okay. Well, we can do we can do one thing. We can just do it again. So yeah, we will return to Dawn. And then we'll just go ahead and re-rest the Tashigi. We'll do leader effect. And then we'll swing 7 into it. Are you going to restand it? You got another restand event for it? Alright, cool. Alright, so that works out pretty nicely for us there. So then I think what I'll do here, so we're going to be still, so we're still at 9 Dawn. So yeah, so we're going to be a little bit lower, but I think we're still looking good. Especially if we're going to get that Dawn back with our Katakuri. This card is just so freaking good, man. So we'll swing our 7 into the 5. Oh, sorry, that's on us. my bad. So now we're at 7, we're going to be at 8 at the end of this turn. I just need to keep 2 Dawn up for Hell's Judgments. So we can go ahead and attach a Dawn, and we can swing another 8 at his face. So he has been taking a lot of life. This has been a very interesting game to see happen. So we'll go ahead and choose him. We'll get our rested Dawn. Now we're back to our 8, and we have a blocker up again. This Katakuri is so good, man. An 8k swing restands himself, gets you that Dawn back. Like, oh my lord. What doesn't he do? What doesn't the Katakuri do? So, if he decides to play the secret Mihawk, it's a little bit unfortunate because he can just rest the Katakuri, which is still fine for us because we're still looking pretty good and we're still looking safe. However, the biggest thing that I think can probably hurt us the most here is if he plays out Shanks. Because I do want to play out Rush Luffy next turn. If I can keep this board specifically alive for next turn, we can play out the Rush Luffy, and we've got game. Like, we can 100% get him here. This will be turbo game. Ooh. Okay. That Shanks was a pretty good one. I was not anticipating this Shanks. Okay. Okay, so does that change any of our math? He's been taking a lot of life, so he's gonna have 2 blockers. That's the thing to consider here. I think I should just give him 2k. I don't want to commit Hell's Judgment. Because then we can go to 10 next turn. I'll have 4 swings. He's gonna have 7 cards in hand plus 2. It'll be tricky, but I think I can put on enough pressure onto him next turn that I can play out the Rush Luffy and go for it. So let's just give him, so we'll do no blocker. We will give him a, yeah, Yeah, we'll give him a 2k. And then we will see what our opponent does. Okay, so he passes the turn. Perfect. So that's great for us. Now, let's just start swinging. So we will start. I want to put all my Dawn onto this Luffy. So we're just going to start off by seeing if we can hit him with a 5 at lead. Unfortunately for us, we know he has 2 Dawn open, so he's got 2 events in hand. Which is definitely going to be a little bit annoying, but we'll see what we can do. So let's just start baiting out every single little bit of counter that we can from him. He's going to have to start committing counter events for these guys. Yep, so there's already 1 counter event. Here's the second. Okay, he decides to take it. So we could still play out the Rush Luffy here, and like I said, we are still looking really good. The only problem is if we do play out the Rush Luffy, we won't be able to get through. Damn. Yeah, we won't be able to get through the 2 blockers. So I think we'll have to just play this a little bit safe. I'm gonna play this safe. I'm gonna just go ahead and play out the Beer Luffy. So we will return our 2 Dawn. We'll get the Dawn back as active. And then we can commit 3 Dawn to Nami. And then we can just swing another 5, forcing him to block with something. Okay, yeah. So we'll go ahead and pass turn with that. And then I will restand the Katakuri, and then we are good to go. So I think next turn, as long as we survive this turn, next turn we for sure win. So we'll be able to give the Shanks -3. So we can give Shanks -3, and then we can give Leader -3, and then that's going to stop a lot of his potential power. So now it's just going to be a matter of what does he decide to swing with. Once again, if you are enjoying the content and if you are enjoying the games, please make sure to give this video a like and share it with your friends. All of the support really means a lot, and it helps the channel grow significantly. So now it looks like our opponent's kind of doing a little bit of a really big think here. And I can't say I blame him. He's in a really bad spot. Like, clearly he's probably sitting on a lot of bricks in hand because he's been taking his life fairly aggressively, which leads me to believe that he's got a lot of bricks in hand. So he might just have a million events, or he might just have all of his top end. Okay, it's interesting that he's deciding to swing into the Nami. So I'm fine with that. Like, Nami's a 2k. Like, that's not really doing anything for me. Like, I don't think that really. I don't think that's really hurting you, leaving the Nami alive, but sure. I mean, whatever floats your boat, my dude. Like, to be honest, the main saving grace that we've had in this game is the fact that he has not played out the, let me see. So, if I give him -3, that puts us on par, right? So I can go -3, and then that'll put him at 8. So then I'll still have to commit a 2k. Which I think I'm fine with. Yeah, I'm fine with that. And then I can just get -2 to the... I'll get -2 to the law, I think. So we'll go no blocks. We'll return a Dawn. Give -3 here. We'll give -3 here. And then we'll give 2k. So now if he wants to swing with the law, he's going to have to commit quite a lot of Dawn to try to get that. Okay, so he does have the secret Mihawk, so that is a little bit unfortunate. So he's probably going to stop the Beer Luffy from attacking. Okay. I don't think that's necessarily the correct option. because you're giving this is giving my leader plus 2,000. Like, this is 2 Dawn I'm effectively swinging with. So now I just got to get past 2 blockers and then potentially a couple of events in hand. I think we've got this here on this turn. I think this is a GG's here with our opponent. I think right now he's just kind of drawing out the inevitable. So what we're gonna go ahead and do here for us. Oh, okay. I wasn't anticipating that, but that's actually better for us because it means that he's gonna. This actually works out really nicely for us. Yeah. We can let this go through. We actually win here. We super win. We super win. We just go ahead and play this out now. So now we're just gonna go ahead and swing 7, return 2 Dawn. We get our +2. And then because of leader effect, we're gonna get that 1 Dawn back. And so we're gonna have effectively a 10k swing coming at him. Sure. So now we're gonna go 7 once again, and then we're gonna go 10k, and that should be game. So he's already, yeah, there we go, GG's. Oh my lord, he was sitting on double shanks. I have no idea why he didn't play this out, or even the Law and Beppos. I think he should have played out that Law and Beppo, I think, but I mean, hey, it is what it is. GG's to our opponent. That was a really close match. Not gonna lie, it got me a little bit shaky there towards the end. I was like, I hope I don't throw this. But when you're sitting at a double, when you're sitting at no life, 1 blocker, no Dawn up, and a 10k swing, you're looking pretty good. So that was really good for us. Our opponent just didn't have the best draws. It was a little bit unfortunate for him, but we'll go ahead and move on here into the next round. Alright, we're back here in another game. So we're actually going to be up against Koby. This is going to be an interesting one, especially with us going first. With us having the Law and the Nico Robin, I think I'm okay with going first here. So I will definitely be keeping this. So one unfortunate thing is I actually didn't realize before the recording of this some of these videos is that the sim has already updated for banning out block 1 and only allowing us to use, I think I'm gonna grab the Nico Robin, and allowing up to stuff from OP15 to be used. So unfortunately my deck is slightly nerfed with some of the stuff we might be playing against, but you know, it is what it is. Sometimes it just be like that. So I have been playing a lot of Koby. If you've been watching the channel, you saw I recently put out a video about Koby. And honestly, it's a super fun deck. I've been quite enjoying it. I think it's extremely fun. It's very aggressive and forces you to like really go aggressive against your opponent's board and just kind of smash into it. So unfortunately, it does make it so that you are a little bit vulnerable on the states where you have a board state and you're kind of hoping that they don't have a Kujiaku. I'm actually just gonna let that resolve because I'm kind of hoping that I can get something slightly better, but you know, it is what it is. So he actually does have a lot of cards in hand, which is good for us because I can play out this Nico Robin. I'm going to force him to pitch a lot of cards from hand. The only question is, what exactly do we want to give up in return? So I think I might be fine with just giving up one of the Usohachis. I could potentially go into a Frankie and draw 2 and then wait another turn for the Robin, because I'm not really in trouble here. So maybe what we can try to do first is let's just try to poke at him for 5. Alright, cool. So he does give us 1k. So it looks like he's got 7 cards in hand. So yeah, we could potentially do the Frankie, do a little bit more shenaniganry, and then next turn play out the Nico Robin. I think I'm fine with that play. So we'll go ahead and do the Frankie. We will do Frankie's effect, well, Dawn -2. We will go ahead and trash, say, the Usohachi. And then we'll get our stuff back. And then with the extra Dawn, I'll actually go ahead and play out the Black Maria. He's currently at 4 Dawn, so I'm going to have to hold off on that for a bit. So if he does end up playing out the Kujiaku, this is unfortunately going to backfire me a little bit, but if he doesn't, I do want to have this Black Maria established on the board. So just that way I can make sure I can get that ramping Dawn as I need it. So right now he is at 5 Dawn left. He just grabbed the Smoker Tashigi. This is actually a really cool card that I am going to be playing in my Koby list as well, and I'll go over that once I get to my OP15 videos when that's officially out. So it looks like he is indeed going to be going for the Hibari play, so he's going to make it so she can attack an active. She's going to go, yep, straight into the Black Maria, and then he's going to allow the Kujaku to attack. So that's fine. I'm not going to bother saving that. It's unfortunate we waste it, but it is what it is. So now he's probably just going to go straight into the Frankie. I would imagine it's going 7 into my blocker. Yeah. Which I'm fine with, because realistically, if this was going at face, I probably would have blocked it anyways. So I'm honestly okay with this exchange here. And because he has 7 cards in hand, we are still going to be playing out that Nico Robin next turn, forcing him to pitch some stuff. So we will let that go through. And then he's just going to swing 5 at my face. I think for 5 at face, I'll definitely just take that here, I think. And we'll see how... Yep, so we'll go ahead and let that resolve. We got a Frankie, which is a bit unfortunate, but we're not tripping too much. Okay, and so he plays out a Ripper. So that's a little bit unfortunate for us, but that puts him to 6 cards in hand. We're going to be at 8 here. So let's see if I can't... yeah, it is unfortunately at 7k. So let's actually see if we could potentially swing. It's a bit tricky because I do want to swing into it, but I also want to have some Dawn open for Gum Gum Giants. So I think instead of swinging into it, I'm actually just gonna swing 5 and 6 at life and just continue to pressure his hand. I want him to pitch some counter, or at least get rid of this blocker. So we'll see what he decides to do here. Alright, perfect. So he has given me some counter. That's good for us. That puts him down to 5. Let's go ahead and send this now. So we're going to do Robin's effect. He's going to pitch 2 cards in hand. This is extremely good for us because we know he wants to play out that Tashigi and Smoker. And for those of you who don't know, what Tashigi and Smoker does is it basically allows his leader to be a 7k base power. It's effectively taken the place of the promo that Koby was playing previously. So he decides to get rid of the Whip You Into Shape, which is a 3k counter, and the Helmeppo. So he probably just got rid of his 3k counter in hand and might not have another one. So that is good for us. So let's go ahead and just swing in another 5k at his face. And so he'll take that. Perfect. And with that, I think we'll just go ahead and pass that turn. So we do still have the Gum Gum Giant in hand. We have the Rush Luffy. I think we have some decent gas to try to hopefully push in for game. But we are going to have to see what we can do. It's all going to depend on what he can potentially do for actually dealing with our board here. So if he does decide to swing into the Nico Robin, I'm genuinely perfectly fine with him just having that. I don't need the Nico Robin. At least the mini one. I do still want my blocker Nico Robin. So that one I'll try to save if I can. Ooh, okay. So he's just going straight in. But he does use all of his Dawn for that. So I can guarantee he's not going to be able to attack, or he's not going to be able to kill my Robin with the Hibari. But he can probably make it so Hibari can give Kujaku the ability to attack an active, and one of these two can potentially stop her. So let's go ahead and give him the Gum Gum Giant here. So yeah, no blocker. We'll do Gum Gum Giants. Return to... I will trash the... I think I'll probably trash the Frankie here. And then we'll give ourselves 4k and resolve that. So drawing into Law is actually pretty good, because now I can pitch the Nami for counter. And we can still continue to search for a Beer Luffy or something. Alrighty. So now he's going 6 at face. For 6 at face, let's give him the Black Maria. I want to hold on to the Usohachi, so that way I can potentially rest his blocker as needed. So we will give him that. 2k. Alright, so now he's going 6. So the Hibari can only swing for 5. So I will give him another 2k here. So trash for counter, he's going to swing. Okay, so no, he decides not to swing with the Hibari. He knows that Hibari is extremely relevant for him. So now we have 2 options. He's only got 4 cards in hand. He does have a blocker. I don't think I can go for the I don't think I can go for a kill, which is very, very unfortunate for us. So I think what I'm gonna do now, I'm forcing him to either decide whether he wants to swing into the blocker or if he wants to swing into the Luffy, and he'll 100% swing into the Luffy. So let's go ahead and slam down our Luffy, return our 2 Dawn, get our Dawn back. Now we're a 7k base leader. Let's see if we can potentially... It's most likely going to get blocker from him here, I would say. So let's try to swing that 8 into the Kujiaku. No, actually, no. I think I just want to go straight into his space, because he's going to try to continue to swing at my board. So let's actually go... let's just go 7 straight to his face. So we'll see if he has a 2k in hand. He's probably sitting here thinking, like, why is he not going into my board? Why is he not going into my board? And, I mean, honestly, the only reason for that is because I don't care about your board. Alright, cool. So he does give us the Asaba Luffy. So, I think I am going to go ahead and play out the Law and see if I can hopefully fish for a Gum Gum Giants. We don't get the Gum Gum Giant, which is a little bit unfortunate, but we can at least get the Nico Robin, which is a good 2k. So now we can go ahead and commit these 2 Dawn onto our Nico Robin, and then we can swing 6 into a 6. So either he's going to block, take this, or, yeah, so he's going to take it. So we'll go ahead and pass here. Unfortunately, it's looking a little bit dicey here for us, but I think because of the fact that we're a 7k base lead, it's looking a little bit better for us than it might initially seem. It's really just going to depend on what he decides to draw. We know already that he has the Smoker and Tashigi because he never discarded it. So that is unfortunately something that we just kind of have to play around. So I am fine with this. He's allowing it so that his Hibari can attack. He's allowing his Koby to attack inactive. So he's going to go straight into the Luffy or the Robin, which is fine. So we'll go ahead and let that resolve. So now we're going to have to be a little bit careful here. He's going to try to... He's likely going to commit some Dawn, I would imagine, onto this Koby and just start swinging into one of these 2. He's probably going to swing straight into my Beer Luffy. And if he does decide to swing into Beer Luffy, I am going to have to defend that. Okay. So he is going to swing into it. Unfortunately, that's a lot that he's swinging into it for. So we got to think a little bit here. It's still very unfortunate because he has a lot of Dawn open. So I have to be very careful here. He can't attack the Beer Luffy after this, so I just have to counter out of this. So we just have to give him 4k, which we can definitely do here. I just really didn't want to have to give the... I just did not want to have to give the Usohachi, but I'm going to have to. Because now he can't kill the Beer Luffy. Beer Luffy is going to be good for this turn. Now I can use my Nico Robin to block for something else, or he's going to have to spend some more Dawn trying to commit more resources into removing my 1 card. So let's see what he decides to do here. I would actually much prefer it if he decided to swing on my face. Because I do think that we have, with the Rush Luffy, I think we have what we need to win next turn. It all just hinges on what he plays out. Because I specifically haven't been leaving too many characters out that are arrested, he doesn't have much of an ability to actually swing into my board. So I'm genuinely forcing him to swing into my actives, which he can only do twice. Well, effectively once, with Hibari's effect. So if he wants to do it again, he has to play out another 8-cost secret, or he has to play out another Hibari. So I think right now he's kind of just thinking about his options here. He has a couple of options. I think he's maybe trying to calculate if he can maybe somehow go for game, but like there's definitely no way. So all he can really do is try to play out something else, establish more of a board state, or set up some blockers. Because he is going to have to play defensive for this next turn. Although he is definitely taking a long time to think about it. But regardless of what he does, if he does decide to, if he finds something to clear, maybe like the Beer Luffy or something, it is what it is. I'm not going to be able to do a whole lot about it. I'll probably sacrifice the Robin for it, because I would like to keep the Beer Luffy to keep the 7k, and then I want to swing with the Rush Luffy for 10k, 10k. And that's effectively how we're going to win this match, is by getting our 4 swings with these 3 cards here. If I can keep the Nico Robin alive, that would actually be the most ideal. Okay, so he's gonna play out the doll. So he's pitching 1. He's gonna give, I'm assuming, yep. So -6. But now, does he have another way to attack an active? All right. So that is pretty good. So this is one of the new events that's going to be coming out in EB04, and it is an insanely good card because not only is it a 3K, it also allows. So he gave the Kujaku the ability to swing into it. So this I will definitely be blocking it, and now he has no other way to remove the Luffy because he's committed his resources into that. So now we have to see what he's able to do. So this I will take. And we get another Rush Luffy, so I'm fine with this. And with that, he has 2... So now this is where it gets a little bit tricky, right? Because he does still have 2 blockers. He can stop 2 of my attacks. He has no Dawn and just 2 cards up. I think we're in a really good spot. I think this is a GG's, but let's find out. So let's go ahead and play out the Rush Luffy. We're going to swing for 7 first. On attack, we're going to return our 2 Dawn. We're going to get our Dawn back. And now, with him seeing this, he has to realize, okay, there's 4 attacks coming my way. He knows he can block 2 of them. How is he going to stop the other 2? That is the real question. So, because he has no Dawn open, I don't think he'll be able to stop both of them effectively. He's going to have to commit his resources into stopping either one of these 2 attacks or dealing with the crackback. Okay, so he does decide to take it. So now this is where it's going to get a little bit tricky for us. So what I think I can do is I can attach 1 Dawn here. We can swing 8. So now we're going to have to force him to give me 2 more cards from hand if he wants to stop this, or he has to block it. And the thing about Koby is that it does actually have a decent amount of bricks. Like the Hibari, the Kujaku, and the Koby are bricks. He's also got the new events as well. And I don't know if the new Koby... No, the new Koby does have counter, but Helmeppo doesn't. And I think most of the new lists are going to be playing 4 copies of Helmeppo. So this is going to be a little bit tricky. To be honest, this is just kind of one of those fuck it, we ball moments, because this is the only way that I'll be able to get it. Okay, so he did effectively counter out of that, which is extremely unfortunate for us. But I mean, at the end of the day, there's really nothing that I can do about that because I knew that there was going to still be that potential for it. I could have played out the Sanji, but, you know, not much that I can really do to kind of like play around it, of course. Yeah, so he blocks that, and then I try to go again, and then he's going to block it again. Yep, and unfortunately for us, that is GG's. So, you know, we did what we could. We played as best as we can. Sometimes you get it, sometimes you don't. And it just be like that. We'll go ahead and give our opponent the GG's. And that is it. So, we did our best. But like I said, at the end of the day, we can only do so much about that. So we will see if we can squeeze in one more game here for the video. Alright, everyone. So, we're going to be coming in here with another... We're going to be coming in here for another game. So unfortunately, I didn't realize before the recording of this video. So it looks like I'm going to be going first. Okay. If I'm going first, I think I'm fine with keeping this hand because we'll get the turn 2 Zoro into Luffy. But yeah, as I was saying, so unfortunately, before the recording of this video, I didn't actually realize that apparently the sim allowed you to be able to play OP15 and restricted the cards that you could get, or has restricted the block 1 cards already. So it's a little unfortunate because effectively because of that, that means that Judgment of Hell is no longer playable in the deck. So I had to swap in 2 copies of Ground Death instead. So I didn't want to change too much into the deck because I haven't made my changes for OP15 quite yet. So I do want to still keep this in since we are effectively still playing around with all of the things from with OP14 and EB03 still. So unfortunately for us, he does end up going in for the he does end up doing the stage. He ends up resting our Zoro, which is very unfortunate for us, but luckily for us this turn we've got our Beer Luffy So now we can get some of that stuff back, and we're not going to be able to do ground death, so I have to kind of figure out something else I can do for that. I don't really want to keep this Don open for a Gum Gum Giant. So I think what I'm probably just going to end up doing is I think I'll just commit that Don here, and I think we'll just go ahead and swing a 6k at his face. But yeah, so he has already taken, so I kind of went through that a little bit quick. But he did end up giving us, so he did end up countering out of he took the first swing that we sent at him. Ooh. This is, so luckily enough for us, the carrot, so the carrot will still be able to affect the Beer Luffy, which is going to be very problematic for us. So we're going to have to try to play around that a little bit. So I think what we're going to do here is I think we'll go, I don't have a whole lot of experience playing against carrot, unfortunately. So I think I'm going to go ahead and take this hit, and we will not be triggering that. He does have 5 cards in hand, so I think you know what that means. So sure, you might be freezing down my Luffy, my Beer Luffy, but I'm ripping 2 cards from your hand, so who's really winning now? So I think what we're going to go ahead and do is on this next turn, I think we're going to go ahead and we're going to commit 8 Don. I want to keep 1 Don available for a Gum Gum Giant play. So this one does require us to have, requires our opponent to have 5 or more Don on their field, which they are going to have for this next swing. So what we're going to do is we're going to play out the Robin first. We're going to immediately rip 2 cards from his hand. We're going to swing 7k at his face. We're going to become a 7k base power leader. Then after that, we're going to commit 1 Don. We're going to swing another 8 directly into his face. We know next turn he's going to use the carrot and he's just going to freeze our Beer Luffy. There's not too much that we can do about that aside from not swinging with Beer Luffy, but if we don't swing with him, then he just has to swing with carrot, and it's effectively the same thing. At least this way, we're still getting our tempo going in our favor. So we'll go ahead and play out the Robin. We'll pitch 1. Now we gotta wait for him to pitch his 2 cards. Alright, so what did he pitch? He pitched out a Pedro and another carrot. So that's pretty good for us, So let's just start swinging that 7k at his face. We'll get our Don back. And so now, I'm going to go ahead and commit 2 Don here. And I'm going to swing 9 at his face. And let's force him to give me another life. Because I heavily doubt that he's going to give us 5,000 counter here. I don't even know if he's going to even have the ability to give us 5,000 counter. And if he does, then that's genuinely a huge throw on his part. Because Carrot doesn't have a whole lot of card draw as far as I remember. And he would be effectively relying on freezing our board. So with this one, he is going to be able to give all of my characters -1 cost, despite the fact that I'm already giving them +1 cost with Luffy, with leader effect. So that's what's going to make this a little bit tricky, I think. But I mean, regardless, if he freezes the Luffy and then decides to swing into it, I'm just going to commit into swinging into this and getting rid of it. So we do get him to go back up to 5 cards in hand, which, like, at the end of the day is a little bit unfortunate, but we did rip a ton of cards from his face. So he's actually just decided to go straight into face, which I guess is kind of expected here. So the fact that he still has 7 cards, this is where I think a little bit of my inexperience against Carrot is going to kind of come into play. I don't really know what he could play out. Maybe another, I don't know, maybe another Mystems. I don't really want to give the Nami here. I kind of want to keep this so I can try to play it out. So let's actually just go ahead and take this here, I think. We get our Zoro, so that's pretty good. It's going to help us out a little bit for at least kind of swinging at him again in the next turn. But, yeah, we're going to have to see what we could potentially get here. It's just going to go another 7k. Okay, so now we'll go ahead and give him the... So now he's just got 5 left. So most likely he is just going to try to do the... he might just try to play out another carrot. Oh, yeah, he's trying to bait me to use the blocker. So that way he can carrot my blocker. Which, we're not going to fall for that one, buddy. And otherwise, the carrot wouldn't be able to freeze our blocker anyways because of the fact that we're currently considered a 9 cost. But I also don't know if he just has other stuff that's going to freeze, like, generally rested cards. Like I said, I'm pretty inexperienced against carrot. I don't really see carrot very often. I just know that it's going to be doing a lot of freezing, and we can't really allow that to happen here. It's bad enough that he's already frozen our beer Luffy, so that's already it's already a little bit of an issue for us. So what we're gonna have to do on this next turn, I am gonna be committing I'm gonna be committing a good amount of resources into trying to remove this carrot. If he plays out another carrot, it's a bit unfortunate, but if he doesn't play out another carrot, then at least I can remove this one, hopefully, and we can see what happens. If I can draw into another blocker, that would actually be the most ideal. Okay, yeah. Okay, so he does just end up going straight into another carrot. But we do get the Dofi, which is huge for us here, actually. So, wow. Okay, so let's actually go ahead and just play this straight out. We're going to make it so he can't rest any of these three, which allows my Beer Luffy to attack again next turn. Unless he has his fourth carrot, because he's already got one in the trash, so the odds of that would be pretty small. So let's go ahead and play this out. So he cannot rest these three. We will get our Dawn back. And now we can swing comfortably 5 to his face. So this is a pretty good turn here for us. Because of the fact that he's not going to have a whole lot of options here with the carrots now not being able to rest, it means that he won't be able to get his on-attacking triggers. I could have sworn that this was rested, though. Am I fucking crazy? But it's fine. We're going to go on the aggressive. We're going to go on the aggression here. We'll go ahead and attack with the blocker. And so now we'll see what he can do here. So we do still have the Gum Gum Giant for worst case scenario. With us freezing up his board, we're giving him a taste of his own fucking medicine. But that's a little bit of a problem. Yeah. Okay. So, Alright. So, he's only just freezing the Dofi, which is fine. Because we're still going to swing with... I think we can still swing with all three of these, and we can make it hurt pretty bad. So I think I'm just going to go ahead and take this. And then he's just going to pass it straight to us. I guess he'll probably just end up doing... Well, no, he's not going to do so because he won't be able to. Alright, so we are going to have to try to kill him this turn. If I can draw into Rush Luffy, that would be the most ideal. So him having that Dawn open is a little bit problematic, but we're going to have to see what we can do here. So, he has 5 cards in hand. We just need to land 2 hits. So, assuming these are all 2Ks, that could be potentially plus 10. So what can rip us the most cards from hand? He's currently a 7K base power leader. So, I think if I'm going to be at 7K for everybody, I think we're going to want to go... So let me see. We would be at 21, 31... so I think we want to swing 10 with everybody. I think that's the only way that we could potentially get this. So we're going to attach our 3 Dawn here to the Beer Luffy. And then we will swing 10 here. Oh. So that's how that works. Okay. So I wasn't expecting that. I probably should have swung with the Robin first. That actually severely fucks things up. Oh. Okay. So I'm actually learning a little something here. I actually didn't know about that interaction, so you guys are getting to see the bloopers in action. So that's a little bit unfortunate for us. That could have been a 10K swing, but I should have swung with the Robin first, so that's actually a little bit of a problem for us. So I think right now he's just counting up my Dawn and how much we're going to be able to attack. With me still having 8, we're just going to have to swing. We're going to have to put 4 Dawn onto both of these and pray that works. Because with the current board state, there's no way I'm surviving these 5 attacks. Especially once he played out that Long Beppo, that kind of sealed the deal there for us. So hopefully he can make a decision here soon. Okay, so he is going to counter out of it. I'm assuming that he's probably already done the math here and just already knows that he's going to survive. So we know that he probably has some event in hand because he has that 1K, that one Dawn open. Oh! Hey! And that's how we do! So even, the moral of the story is, even if you make a misplay, it doesn't always mean that you're out of the game. You've always still got a bit of a chance, and luckily enough for us, we ended up having it there. That slight misplay was a little bit unfortunate. It could have costed us if he did end up having a Dawn for counter. But either way, well played by our opponent. GG's to them. They tried their best to play around some of our stuff, but I don't think they were really anticipating the Doflamingo. I think this was by far the MVP for that game. Freezing up those carrots, allowing me to be able to swing again with the Beer Luffy, was just incredible value. Then playing out that Lon Beppo does obviously still help them out, but I do think if they were to take something back, I think they probably should have frozen the Beer Luffy, because I get the 10k swing with the Dofi, but at the end of the day, I'm just still a 5k base leader with that, which makes it easier for him on the crackback. But either way, he played well, he did as best as he could. GG's to them, and let's go ahead and move on to the next one. Thank you so much for watching. If you made it this far, you might as well throw a sub and a like my way, since you clearly love competitive One Piece. You sexy dog, you. I'm hoping to continue providing more One Piece content for you all, so please turn on that notification bell so you'll always be notified of when I upload next. That's it from me. Don't forget that every draw counts, so always aim to be the King of TopDecks. Signing out.